Therapy. It's meant to heal the mind, soothe the soul, and bring clarity to chaos. But what happens when the person behind the clipboard, the one trusted with your most fragile truths, begins to twist that trust for their own control? This isn't the story of a serial criminal or a rogue cult leader. It's the story of a respected therapist, who blurred the line between guidance and manipulation, and may have crossed into something far more sinister. This is the case of George Kenney, the therapist who manipulated his patients, and got away with it. Naples, Florida, a beach town of tranquility, affluence, and sunny days. And inside Northport High School, one man stood as the image of compassion. Dr. George Kenney wasn't just the school's principal. He was a father figure to hundreds, a steady hand in the lives of anxious teens. He was known for staying after hours to help struggling students, not just with grades, but with grief, anxiety, and trauma. But Dr. Kenney had another tool in his belt: hypnosis. He had studied it informally and believed it could help students manage stress, focus before tests, or even overcome phobias. And he used it, freely. No one questioned it at first. Parents were thankful. Teachers respected his dedication. Students lined up for sessions. But then, 3 of those students were dead. And the questions began. Kenney wasn't licensed as a therapist. He wasn't board certified to treat psychological conditions, but over time he'd become the unofficial counselor of the school, performing hypnosis sessions in his office, in classrooms, even over the phone. He hypnotized students to help with athletic performance, anxiety, and test taking. He claimed to have helped one girl overcome her fear of public speaking, another, her fear of flying. Some said he was a miracle worker, others said he was playing God. According to school records, Kenney hypnotized over 70 students. That number would later prove impossible to verify. But what's more chilling is what happened to 3 of them. Marcus Freeman, a popular athletic teenager with dreams of becoming a Marine. He had seen Kenney for help with sleep issues and test anxiety. Shortly after one of their sessions, Marcus died in a car accident. He was speeding, failed to yield, and wasn't wearing a seatbelt. Friends said he was unusually quiet the day it happened. Wesley McKinley, a gifted musician struggling with anxiety, he had undergone multiple hypnosis sessions. One day Wesley was found dead, an apparent suicide. A chilling note left behind offered no real explanation. Brittany Palumbo, a straight-A student with high ambitions. She also received hypnosis from Kenney. She was found dead in her bedroom. Another suicide. 3 students, 3 deaths. All had been hypnotized by Kenney within days or weeks of their passing. Coincidence or consequence? When the 3rd student died, parents began to connect the dots. An anonymous tip led the school board to launch a quiet inquiry. Then a storm of media attention erupted. The district placed Kenney on administrative leave. He admitted to using hypnosis but denied any wrongdoing. And yet, investigators found something deeply troubling. He had continued hypnosis sessions even after being told to stop. He had conducted them without parental consent. He had failed to record or report his sessions, and in some cases, he may have used post-hypnotic suggestion. What's that? It's when a person under hypnosis is given a command or behavior to act on after waking, without conscious awareness of it. And Kenney wasn't trained to handle the psychological fallout of that. According to experts, post-hypnotic suggestion, especially in vulnerable teens, can amplify emotional instability, dissociation, or impulsivity. Could this have played a role in the deaths? The science isn't conclusive, but the ethical violations were undeniable. Kenney eventually resigned, but criminal charges were never filed. Why? Because in the state of Florida at the time, there were no specific criminal statutes covering amateur hypnosis by school administrators. He wasn't charged with malpractice. He wasn't a licensed therapist. He wasn't charged with manslaughter. Causation couldn't be proven. He wasn't even fined. Instead, he was quietly removed. And the school board settled with the families out of court for hundreds of thousands of dollars. 3 lives lost, no justice, no trial. Kenney moved out of state. He became a speaker, and even published a book on leadership. The families of the victims, meanwhile, were left with grief and questions. Manipulation or misjudgment? So was George Kenney a manipulative predator, or a misguided educator who overstepped? That's the gray area that makes this case so haunting. On one hand, students trusted him. They felt better after sessions. Some even credited him with emotional breakthroughs. On the other hand, he operated without training, without oversight, and with full psychological power over minors, some of whom were vulnerable, anxious, or depressed. In a profession where boundaries are sacred, he crossed them, repeatedly. The most terrifying part? He may not have intended harm. He may have believed he was helping, and that's what makes his manipulation so dangerous. The psychology of control. Let's step back. Why does someone like Kenney gain such control? In psychology, this is known as transference, when a patient projects emotions, authority, or idealized trust onto a figure of power. In therapy, it's common. Inappropriately handled, it's dangerous. Kenney wasn't trained to manage transference, but he leveraged it. He became more than a principal. He became a mental guide, without the tools or ethics to navigate it safely. It's also worth noting that hypnosis, while scientifically valid in certain therapeutic contexts, requires strict safeguards: consent, context, follow-up. Kenney used it like a party trick, and in doing so, he blurred the line between healing and control. The aftermath of George Kenney's actions left a lasting impact on those involved. The community was divided, with some defending his intentions while others condemned his methods. The debate over whether it was manipulation or misjudgment continues to this day. After the case went public, Florida banned hypnosis by school personnel, but that wasn't retroactive. Kenney's reputation took a hit, but he continued to write and speak. He was never convicted, never jailed, never even publicly deposed. He vanished from headlines, but the trauma didn't. Students who saw him describe mixed emotions. Some felt betrayed, others still believe he helped them. The families of the deceased remain fractured. One parent said, "He played with my child's mind, and there was no one there to stop him." A system that failed twice. This isn't just the story of one man, it's the story of a system that let him operate in the dark. A school district that didn't ask questions, a society that often underestimates psychological harm until it's too late. It's a chilling reminder that manipulation isn't always loud. Sometimes it whispers, from behind a desk, in a trusted office, with a smile. If this story shocked you, share it, talk about it. Because the next trusted face could be hiding the same power, and next time, the cost could be even higher. Subscribe for more true stories that reveal what lies beneath the surface of the human mind.